So, Nvidia started with the 10 series by releasing the 1080 and the 1070 back in 2016, and then further down the road they released the 1060, the competitor to the RX 480. And the final puzzle for 2016 for Nvidia was the release of 1050 and the 1050 Ti. But in 2017 they have gone ahead and unleashed the beast of the 10 series, which is the 1080 Ti, which even outperforms the Titan X. But we'll get back to that the 1080 in a later video when I would be getting that card. Now let's come back to the 1050. So I have with me the standard version, the 1050, not the 1050 Ti. So this time with the 1050, Nvidia didn't made the reference design as they have made with the 1060 and 1070, 1080 series. So this time the card which I am having is the MSI stock version, or you can call it as the reference version of the 1050. So let's start with it. So this version, the 1050 standard version, is having 640 CUDA cores with a base and boost clock of 1354 MHz and 1455 MHz, and this is having 2 GB of GDDR5 memory with a bandwidth of 112 gigabytes per second, which is impressive. With the support of DirectX 12, you are getting all these in a teeny tiny package of just 75 watts, which is impressive, because the performance which you are getting out of this card is just impressive. So my test rig consisted of the new Gigabyte Aorus Gaming 9 motherboard. So it supports the latest Z270 chipsets, but I used a i5 6600 CPU with it because I didn't have the Tab Elite one with me, and I used 16 GB of HyperX Fury RAM, 120 gigabytes of HyperX Fury SSD. So all thanks to HyperX for providing this to me, and then I used a 450 watt Antec power supply. So it's a pretty good setup for testing this card. The first test which I fired up was the Unigen Heaven benchmark. So in that, with the I got the maximum FPS which I got was 138.3. So you're not gonna get more out of this card. But with the slight overclock, I think you can, but I didn't test it with Unigen. However, I tested it with Firma, and the results I'm going to talk about later. And the average FPS which I got in Unigen Heaven was 66.4, which is not that bad. So then I fired up Firma. So this is a very beefy stress tester for a graphic card, and with that with a resolution of 1920 by 1080, which is full HD, I was only able to get 40 FPS on an average. Well, that's pretty low, but lowering the resolution, I got some decent result on 1366 by 768 resolution. I got a maximum FPS of 67, which is not that bad, but with slight overclock I was able to push it up to 75 FPS, which is impressive, but after that, after the 75 FPS mark, if I was to overclock it more, then it used to crash, because this card is having its limit. But 75 FPS is also not that bad, and although you may not be able to get it on full HD resolution, but 1366 is also a pretty good resolution these days. Now coming to the final benchmark test which I did on this was with the IDA 64 GP GPU benchmark tool, and in that I got an impressive 12 gigabytes of read and write memory suite. So that's very impressive, and then coming down to the games which I tested with this card were GTA 5. So in GTA 5 I got an average FPS on high settings of 78 FPS, so that's not bad at all. And the maximum FPS which I was able to get was pretty impressive, which was around 125 frames per second. So that's not bad at all. Pretty till now the card is holding up really well. Now coming to Tom Clancy's Division, on high setting I was only able to get between 55 to 60 FPS But lowering down the settings to medium, I was successfully able to get between 65 to 75 FPS being the highest. And then coming down to Watch Dogs 2, which is the final game I played on this card. On high settings, I was pretty much disappointed with this card because the frame rates were only like 40 to 50 FPS. But then as usual, playing it on medium resulted in a whole new level. I was able to get around average of 70 FPS, but with a maximum of 80 to 85 FPS. Well, that's pretty impressive. So I would recommend that on medium setting, this card works best, and with a resolution of 1366 by 768, or you can also played on Full HD, which is 1920 by 1080, because I was playing on that resolution only, and these were the result which I got, and they were pretty impressive, considering the price range of this card, and the targeted consumers for this card would be very, very happy, by the performance of this card. And let me tell you, the cooler, the stock cooler, which not the stock, but this is a very basic cooler in this MSI card, also did a pretty good job of keeping the temperatures down. The temperatures were not more than 65 to 68 degrees Celsius, even on stress testing it for 10 minutes and even playing games. So considering this is a very basic cooler, those were some pretty good results. And I don't know what's the exact price. I think so between 10 to 15,000 is the exact price for this card, and for that price I think so the 1050 is not a very big disappointment. It's a very, very highly appreciable card from my side. But only one thing, if you can get the 1050 Ti, then that would be bang for buck, because the 1050 Ti is having slightly more CUDA cores, but the main difference is it's having 4 gigabytes of memory. Well, that creates a very big difference of 2 GB, and in all the games I tested out, the memory used to max out even at medium settings. It was utilizing 90% of the memory, and on high settings it was maxed out. So on ultra setting it was definite that you cannot at all play on ultra setting on this card. So I recommend buying the 1050 Ti, but if not, then the 1050 is also a very, very good card in a budget oriented setup. It would be performing very, very good. So as usual, hit the like button or the dislike button if you thought it sucked, and please leave a comment if you have any questions about this product, and please subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and family, and I will see you next time. Stay awesome.